All right, good afternoon, traders. Today is the market wrap up. It is the market day in review. It is October 22nd, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all my paying subscribers. Thank you to everybody out there in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. And thank you to Bob Jordan, John Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted for sharing the content. Appreciate that. Love the kind words. Love the hearts. Love the thumbs up. Love it all. Thank you so much for following me. I appreciate that. I'm honored. All right. So let's go ahead and start with the markets today. Okay. So let's move this over. Let's move this down. Let's take a look at SPY on the 10-minute chart. Got a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. All right. And on the 2-hour chart, we have a 2-hour downtrend coming into the close. On the daily chart, we have a still in an uptrend. On the daily chart, because we still got that higher high. We're obviously closing in the upper third. That's a good sign that we're closing in the upper third. I don't know how long we can hold on to that. I think Tesla reports tonight. If I'm not sure, I'll take a look. Earnings for tonight, Wednesday. Yeah, that's Tesla's going to report tonight. About $1.5 trillion. All right, so we'll take a look at that later on before we close. And let's take a look at SPY on the weekly chart. Still in an uptrend. See the green dots. Nothing's wrecked yet. Nothing's falling apart yet on the weekly. Nothing's falling apart on the monthly chart right here. Nothing's falling apart on the daily chart. Everything is still bullish. Let's take a look at the QQQ. All right, on the QQQ daily chart, still in an uptrend. We have not broken anything yet. On the weekly chart, we're still in an uptrend. On the monthly chart, you can see the green dots. We are still in an uptrend there on the QQQ on the monthly chart. On the 2-hour trend, we have a downtrend. You can see the yellow 3 EMA wrapped up underneath this 8 EMA right here. So as we bang right into the all-time high anchored VWAP right there. So price action in a 2-hour downtrend coming into the close. We have a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close on QQQ. All right, let's take a look at Diamond Dow on a daily chart. All right, Diamond Dow still in an uptrend. Okay, and bullish, still in an uptrend up there at the top. All right, so we got bearish reversal candle right there. Closing in just barely squeaking out in the upper third. So still bullish, still in an uptrend up there for Diamond Dow. IWM, still in an uptrend. We just started a downtrend right there. We got below this low right here. They couldn't defend it. So IWM now in a downtrend once again. Okay, IWM now in a downtrend once again, and still up there in bullish territory. Okay, so still bullish, but now starting a new downtrend. Let's take a look at gold. All right, gold, lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish cross underneath, but over the 17 EMA. In the middle of quadrant 4, that's bullish. And still in an uptrend for gold. Silver got a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish trap and under the 17 EMA. Still in an uptrend. Up there in quadrant 4, that is still bullish and in an uptrend there for silver. All right, let's take a look at USO. All right, USO no longer in the lower third, so it's back in neutral territory, but still remains in a downtrend that's currently not moving down. Last two candles moved up. All right, so there's USO. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG right here got a, gonna call it an inside day. We'll see. High there is 1323. High there is 1324. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, over the 17, that wavy 17 right there. Still in a downtrend. Notice they have not made a higher high yet. So UNG still in a downtrend, still down here in quadrant 1. That's still bearish and in a downtrend. Let's take a look at our technicals. T2122, 2101, okay? Market came down and absolute breadth and participation came down. That's a little weird. All right. So market breadth came down and we lost more participation today. So when it was going up, we had participation increasing, except for yesterday was an outlier. So again, we're losing more and more market breadth with price action dipping lower here on T2101. That's the 15-minute chart. See where we are with T2122. T2122, we spent the day chomping around between the buyer's chop zone and the seller's chop zone to close up here in the buyer's chop zone. So we made some lower lows and some lower highs and more lower lows and equal highs right here coming into the close on the 15-minute on T2101. Excuse me, T2122. Let's take a look at T2123. We left off. We made a low. We made a lower low here. Did we make a higher high? So we left off. We're in an uptrend because we have a high right here, and they made a higher high. T2123 just barely inks out an uptrend here, closing over this, trying to get the 200 SMA to hook. All right, still down here in bearish territory, the lower third of the pullback from the high, all-time highs to the pullback low. We're still in quadrant 1. That makes us bearish on the 15-minute for T2123, and we're still in the lower 1/3 right there. So there's T2123, just barely inking out a higher high at the last minute. Not very convincing. From this point here, we have a bull flag, move up and over to the right. From this point up here, we have a bear flag. So we got a little mini bull flag inside of a big bear flag currently on T2123 15-minute chart. 3-bar chart. All right, we've got lows and we made lower lows. So we're still in a downtrend on the 3-bar chart, still caught underneath the rising 200 SMA right there on the 3-bar chart, T2123. We back way out from the pullback low to the all-time high. We're still up here in quadrant 1. All right, that's bullish, but the 3-bar chart still in a downtrend. A lot of work to do to create that uptrend. They still have to at least pop a lower high up over the 17, unless, of course, they can rally it up to here. Now, Tesla reports tonight after the close, so we'll see where they report after the close. So, nice little work if they could get it all the way up here. If not, I'd like to see them put in a lower high and then pull back low and then come back up and take it out. So we'll see what happens here, okay? Looking like some aftermarket action. Gonna go back here and take a look at it and see if I can scoot over there. And I want some aftermarket action on SPY. SPY aftermarket action, 5-minute chart right here, 10-minute chart. Let's try this one. Not picking it up for some reason. And let's take a look at FNGU. Let's look at FNGU on the daily chart first. All right, FNGU makes a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bullish trap and under the 17 EMA. Still in that mighty bull flag up there in quadrant 4. Still holding on to that flag on FNGU. On the 15-minute, they did not make a higher high because there's nothing that passes through these red dots. So they are still in a downtrend. They got some lows here. We made lower lows. So FNGU in a downtrend currently, making, I don't know if we can call those lower lows, or, well, they are candles. So some lower lows right here. So now in a downtrend on the 15-minute chart. Again, back underneath the 200 SMA, trying to rally back up over. VWAP not really being able to make that make the difference. Again, we still consolidate over to the right, and we lost the higher ground. Price needed to go up and hold the higher ground, and they lost it. Unless, of course, they can recover it here by tomorrow morning. We'll see what happens. There's FNGU on the 15-minute chart. NASDAQ was 3 sells versus a 1 buy ratio. So NASDAQ was selling off then. Volume negative, net sell up volume. So what do we got for tomorrow? Text. We got more negative GEX, negative gamma. Let's go back over here to the chart. See if I can pick up SPY. And that's not it. And that's not it. For some reason, they're off. Somehow I lost the chart. Don't know how it happened, but I lost the chart. All right, in the post market, still got a 5-minute uptrend. On 10 minutes, still got a 5-minute uptrend, 10-minute uptrend right there. Let's take a look at Tesla. And Tesla's kind of whippy still undecided. All right, that's it right there, traders. Any questions? Yeah, we'll see fresh data in the morning. They were selling off before the earnings came out. We'll see if they're going to sell off after the earnings come out. That's it for me today, traders. Traded a 10-minute downtrend. I said we were going to trade the 10-minute downtrend. I was looking for a breakout of the 10-minute bull flag. And instead of breaking out to the upside, they broke out to the downside. Went back and filled gap. So not a good sign for the bulls when the bears come back and fill the gap. So we did bounce out of, we almost were in the neutral zone. We bounced out of the neutral zone back into the bullish zone up here. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. We're still in bullish territory up there in regards to the pullback low. So I wanted to see, you can see this was the yellow line. Down here would have been the neutral zone right in here. Up here is the bullish zone. They finally made it up to the bullish zone. They held for a day or two, and then they lost it here. The good news is they made a higher low, and you can see they bounced right on the trend line right through here. Okay, so you can see right there is a bounce on the trend line. Okay, so that's where we bounced today, right there on the trend line, and came back up there. So we'll see what happens. Still looking for a big move to the upside. We'll see what happens here. If they can put one together, definitely do not want to see them break trend over here. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you all tomorrow. What I traded was this 10-minute downtrend break of the consolidation right down into 230. Okay, if you look at the 15-minute chart, you'll see the exhaustion candle, and then 1, 2, 3 exclamation point, and then that's it. You got the exhaustion candle, a 1, 2, 3 exclamation point, and then right into the uptrend line here, and then a rip back up to the upside. Okay, so that's right all the way back to VWAP. I'd like to see us break the rubber band candle on VWAP. We'll see what happens. Until tomorrow, I'll see you all. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Hope you all made some money. 30% earnings decrease from the same quarter last year. I don't think that's going to stay up there too long. Yeah, that can't be good. That's for sure. That cannot be good. All right, that's it for me. Everybody have a beautiful afternoon.